beautiful legends, and welcome to Blunt Force Healing Podcast, episode 324. But the video episode is number 102. So here we are, 324 days since this project started. Every single day, the blog post and the podcast episode. It's quite crazy, to be honest. In about a month or so, we will hit the first year, which is, as I said, crazy. So I'll repeat myself because it actually is, considering that it's very hard to keep up with any new thing like a routine or habit, especially if you're like on the procrastination side, or a person like me that is less organized. It's more maybe on the reactive or more creative side of uh, the mindset, or the how my brain works is really less organized, or less on the planning side, but more on uh, kind of creating new things or reacting to things and resolving them. So I adapt well into situations that happen suddenly. That's at least what I learned over my lifespan, and I suspect that there's a lot of people of similar fashion. But then there are people that are very well organized, and these people usually get into jobs around planning or kind of the project management stuff, and they are very well organized. They can plan things ahead, they can think more about details and then execution or preparation before execution, while my kind of type of thing is execution itself and doing things and adapting to the changes. While I think the people more on the planning side, they usually are not keen on changes. When they plan something, then they like to for the plan to go ahead and obviously have some wiggle room or plan B, but that's it. If something doesn't go well on any of A or B kind of routes, then they become very anxious, and it's just a type of mindset. And obviously these are just two types of mindset that I think about in general, because all of them have flavors in themselves. So these are not just two types, but these are maybe two groups that then divide into different branches. But going back to the fact that it's 324 days since I started, most of my habits didn't survive more than 30, 40 days, and they were actually the good ones. I used to have things that I started and they kind of faded away after 2 weeks. So it was very difficult to upkeep that any kind of thing in what I was kind of starting. So, if you consider that and look at 324 days, so almost a year without hiccup, it's not like this blog is happening once a week or once every 2 weeks or once every couple of days. I do it every day. And doing something every day was a massive challenge for me. So I guess there is one side of this. Obviously, I committed myself to writing this blog as my accountability project, but that's not enough for people like myself and many of you probably that struggle with procrastination and not sticking to habits or routines, because just committing to something by saying it or kind of thinking and having that motivation, that momentary motivation or temporary motivation, is not enough to keep habit going, because most of the habits or routines are actually a struggle. So you need to have strong roots in what you're trying to establish, and that always fascinated me. I read a lot of different explanations of that phenomena, but while diving into details of that and research, etc., realize that the key thing is quite simple for most of the habits or routines, whatever you call them. You need to like them, or you need to like doing them to some extent. Otherwise, they won't stick, and that's just a simple fact. So maybe because I like technology and I always wanted to write some form of blog, but never had a clear idea what type of blog to do because I had different interests. And I started some kind of blog in the past where I was putting one or two articles per week, but they were just a couple of them over a span of month. I don't think I went anywhere further than that. And it felt like it's a very chaotic blog because it was about everything. I was doing some recipes, and then I was reporting on certain trips, and then I was writing on about music. So it was everything and nothing. So I thought it just can't go on. I didn't feel that inside, so that blog kind of died naturally. And for many years, I didn't get into any writing, mainly because of that. I was overthinking and trying to straight away focus on some niche or maybe some single topic, and I knew that it wasn't for me. So this project actually proven to me that it actually is. I'm writing about everything, but because of the format, this is a journal about what I do and just to record my everyday life for later on so I can reflect on that and maybe some people can get value from my struggles. It turned out I can write about anything and still create something that can go on because it's a journal. The format or the character of what I'm doing allows for everything and nothing to be the content. So that was kind of revealed after a good couple of weeks or months since I started. But because I allowed myself to do, and I didn't put any pressure on myself that I need to deliver specific value or concrete articles about specific things, I just write something about current day or whatever happened on that day or the day before or might happen to, let's say, tomorrow. I had a lot of wiggle room, and I think that stuck to in my head to keep going, even on those challenging days that I call stormy days, where I am outside of home, outside of that cozy and comfort zone and availability of everything around me, the same schedule of work, etc. If I go out, all of that disappears. I need to organize myself enough to fit writing chunk of time as well as recording the podcast and then uploading everything and publishing within the schedule that is completely out of whack and might be impacted by anything on that day, especially when I drive to Dublin and back or similar things. So that's a difficult thing. What I didn't have yet a chance to test from those stormy days. So I was able to test that in the field when I go to Dublin, be it for family reasons or to work in the office. But what I think is still missing as a lesson are holidays. So I'm not sure how challenging the holidays will be. And I hope to have a chance to test it soon, probably around maybe end of August, maybe September or October, but it's coming soon because we haven't been on a proper vacation, I would say, outside of Ireland or abroad for quite a long time. And it can be felt within the family, within the way we get more, I would say, anxious or nervous, the more stressed, and that builds up. And it's felt in the relationships, in different talks, or even though we don't really care much about what other people's lives are about, in terms of like, we're not following that, you know catching up with Jonesy's scenario. Of course, we care about other people and their lives when we can influence their life positively, and if they need our input. But other than that, it's like, we need to focus on ourselves, and like every person around, you need to stick to well structuring your own life and threading it before you even think altruistically and try to help people, because how can you help other people, when you can't help yourself, if you know what I mean? So that's very important. And even though we don't have that Jonesy's mindset, it still feels like when you see people or hear people coming back from holidays or being on holidays, and then you realize, like, you're really happy for them to relax and go somewhere, so you don't compare yourself to them, but at the same time, it's more of a reflection that, hey, I probably should also get some time off, because I wasn't anywhere else than surrounding area for quite a long time, and maybe, just maybe, I actually need it. So it's not about just going somewhere nice to brag about, or just to do something because I want to do it, but more about changing the environment completely, including the country and culture, and let the air go, like deflate yourself in a positive sense. So deflate the stress while catching up with, let's say, sunny weather, especially that we had like a couple of weeks of rainy days in Ireland. So last year July was great. This year it was terrible in terms of rain and the amount of sun, pretty much zero sun until today, and let's say 2-3 days so far when the weather improved. But it was really challenging on the energy levels, the stress levels, and mental health side. So definitely looking forward to plan something and get away. It will be a great test for this routine to stick. I was abroad once, I think it was January this year, in Poland. If you go back as a time machine into whatever amount of days it is, in January posts, you will probably find the stormy days there. I flew just myself to Poland and back. I was only 3 or 4 days there, and I had very little sleep. I had a lot of things to do, and it wasn't vacation at all or any holidays. It was purely time off work while doing a lot of important things and paperwork around, you know, our stuff in Poland. And it was a difficult time to write something and record, but at the same time, it wasn't, because I was alone. So I didn't have that many distractions, and I could find the moment to just sit down and record, even if it was late in the evening. But it was possible, so I completed that. But the proper vacation, like in the hotel or in some, Airbnb, it will be completely different pair of socks. So we'll see how it goes. I'll definitely update on that. A quick update about today. Today was really, really focused on work, because yesterday was a bank holiday in Ireland. I wrote about our trips to, well, actually, a trip together to the steeple. That was a hike to get to the astronomer's tower that was built in 1810. Uh, it's nothing special about the tower itself, but the woodland around it is brilliant and lovely. We found a couple of interesting mushrooms, and also you can get up the tower. It's in a decent enough condition to go up, and if you're careful, you can see the panorama, 360 panorama of the surrounding area, because it's the highest hill in the area. So it's a lovely view. It was a great weather. We didn't have any drizzle or anything like that, so that was amazing. And today, after work and after dinner, we went to Moorbach Beach again. It was a lovely sunset, amazing weather. The ocean was calm, really calm. It's very rarely that calm. So we enjoyed a walk, Julian, my wife, and myself, and we came back home just, I would say, half an hour ago, maybe an hour ago. But yeah, the guys are doing their stuff. Julian is still catching up a little bit with the gameplay on. I think he's playing Mud Runner on PS4, so he's enjoying that. He built a nice Lego set yesterday. Oh, we bought the new Lego set. I'll probably record a little bit about it tomorrow and write about it tomorrow, maybe, because it's an interesting thing. He really liked Lego in the past, and there was a long period of time that he wasn't building anything, and now he kind of started reigniting that interest, which is very cool. And that's probably it for today. Tomorrow I don't expect anything special, but also I don't have a very busy day at work, so I might do a lot of interesting things on the side. We'll see. But for now, I think that's it for today. So we have, whoa, 17 and a half minutes already in. So that was long enough, I suspect. I wanted to record the update on the beach, but then I decided, like, my battery was quite low on the phone, and then sometimes that struggle of transferring the video and delaying the publishing is not the best thing. So I wanted to avoid it. So I recorded it back home. That's it for today, guys. Thank you very much for coming. There are a couple of worth mentions that I will put in the blog, the milestones in my satellite habits, and if you have any suggestions to changes or things that I could bring as a value to the blog and to the podcast, please feed back to me. Be it on YouTube, Spotify, blog, wherever you can. There are means to contact me, so don't hesitate to do that. Appreciate your time. Thank you very much once again. Stay safe. Enjoy your rest of the day or evening, wherever you are, and see you again tomorrow.